Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 54 of Tran Talks on YouTube. Yes, I am now back. I took the week off previously because I was busy with a bunch of stuff, but now I'm back. So now this is episode 54 right now. All right. So what do I got to say about episode 54? Well, this is just a coincidence that Super Bowl 54 is around the corner, which is the same number of episodes as I'm doing. So the Super Bowl, they're on their same number, and I'm on the same number of episodes. So I find that pretty cool. All right, so what's the 54th episode's opening topic going to be about? It's obviously going to be about Super Bowl 54. What am I going to talk about Super Bowl 54? I'm going to talk about predictions. I'm going to make game picks. I'm going to predict what's going to happen. I'm going to preview what's been happening and all of that. All right, so here's the topic question. What is your game pick for Super Bowl 54? All right, I'm just going to make this nice and simple. All right, so I got the San Francisco 49ers winning Super Bowl 54. I know that a lot of NFL fans and bettors, as well as experts, are picking the Chiefs to win Super Bowl 54. I know I've heard that it's a pick'em, which is basically split. But from what I've seen from the experts, from what I've seen from NFL sports debaters, from what I've seen from NFL talkers, I've seen them side with the Chiefs in Super Bowl 54. But I highly disagree with that due to the fact that defense, quite frankly, wins championships. The Chiefs, you see, are the high-powered offense, while the 49ers are the high-powered defense. So that means that the 49ers are going to have a better chance of stifling the high-level Kansas City Chiefs. Also, something to point out is that the Chiefs have slow starts in their two playoff games so far this season. The Chiefs have been outscored 31-0 in the first quarter. The 49ers have been one of the best teams in terms of starting off a game. The way how they script plays and all that. You look at how they control the clock. You look at how they run the football. You look at how Jimmy G is one of the best third down quarterbacks that I have ever seen. Probably the best in the NFL this season. The 49ers, I mean, they had Tevin Coleman. They had Tevin Coleman rushing for over 100 yards in the NFC divisional round against the Vikings. And then he got hurt against the Packers. He's got a shoulder injury going on. He's limited in practice. We'll see if he plays Sunday or not. And then they had their running back Raheem Mostert coming in and rushing for over 200 yards. And having the second highest playoff rushing yards in a game in NFL history. That's pretty insane to me. The 49ers running game has been spectacular in all phases. Their defense, they've also been very, very good. So they're looking like a defense that's played like the defense that they played in the first half of the regular season. First 7 games of the regular season. That's what I'm trying to say. I believe that the 49ers defense is playing dominant again due to the fact that they got Kwan Alexander back for the NFL playoffs. I mean, that man is underrated as heck. He's one of the fastest linebackers that I have ever seen play the sport of football. I know that he hasn't put up a lot of stats. He's not a stat stuffer. But when you watch the film, when you watch the games like I have, Kwan Alexander is flying around the football all the time. He is the leader of the linebacker corps, their emotional leader, which is a position where it generally functions as the quarterback of the defense. However, the 49ers pass rush has been dominant, filled with multiple first rounders. The 49ers pass rush has improved greatly. Arik Armstead has come through in his development. He showed up this year. DeForest Buckner is getting slept on. Nick Bosa has been sensational. He should win Rookie of the Year, by the way, for defense, as he proved me wrong because I doubted him for the season. That's more so because of the hip injury, the groin injury that he had in college. And D4, a player that I was high on when the 49ers traded for him back in March of 2018. Those guys, they get at the quarterback constantly. They constantly get pressure in the pocket. As for the secondary, they have been improving throughout the season. And in a way, Richard Sherman has been using this season to prove why he has a legitimate case to be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame when his career is all said and done. Speaking of Richard Sherman, he was a player that I used to despise, I used to hate when he was on the Seahawks, but now he is a player that I appreciate, and I like him a lot now, as he has been balling out for the 49ers. So I guess you could say that I used to not like Sherman just because he played for the rival Seahawks. Haven't just listed the key parts of the 49ers. Notice how I have not really mentioned the quarterback too much. The quarterback, Jimmy Garoppolo. Say it with me. Jimmy Garoppolo has been getting disrespected all season long. That is not an opinion. That is a fact. I mean, he has often been called the weak link for the 49ers. And I totally do not agree with that at all. People that actually watch the 49ers games would also agree with me with that as well. I mean, the 49ers cannot win many games without him. And when Jimmy G is playing for the 49ers, they cannot stop winning. before anybody counters with the fact that wins and losses are not a real stat, okay, go ahead and do that. Even though that is a completely stupid take, stupid talk, since you play the game to win, not boast up stats and not care about the outcome of the game. So I mean, if you can put up stats and win, awesome. But if you can win, that's just win. That's cool too. If you put up the stats and lose though, that's not cool. I mean, even if you only look at the stats, you would be surprised by how competent Jimmy G looks like at the least. Here, I want to do this with you guys. I want to compare two quarterbacks to each other. All right. And I'll just tell you one of them is Jimmy G, and I'm not going to announce the other quarterback. All right? I'm not going to release the other quarterback's name until I go over the list. Here, I'm going to compare those two quarterback stats right here. All right, so I'm going to do categories, comparisons, all that stuff. All right, so QB1 represents as Jimmy Garoppolo. All right, while QB2 is anonymous right now. All right, so completions. All right, and note that QB2 did miss one game this year due to rest purposes, but they basically have played around the same amount of film for this year. So let's just compare it. All right, completions. QB1 has 329. The other guy has 333. All right, pass attempts. 476 for QB1, 495 for QB2. All right, so advantages go to both completions and pass attempts for QB2, although it's not all by that much. All right, completion percentage, 69.1%. All right, for QB1 and 67.3% for QB2. All right, passing yards, 3,978 passing yards for QB1, 3,852 passing yards for QB2. All right, passing touchdowns, 27. And for QB1 and QB2's passing touchdowns is 26. All right. While interceptions, QB1 is 13. QB2's interceptions are 12. All right. So you can see that QB1 has better completion percentage, better passing yards, better passing touchdowns. Interceptions, QB2 has that advantage, although it's not by that much. Although you could say the same thing for passing touchdowns. But while sacks, QB1 36, QB2 44. And then passer rating, 102.0 for QB1. And then you got 98.0 for QB2. So that's what I'm trying to say. All right, so in case you haven't noticed, what I just listed right now is that QB1 is a better passer than QB2. Although it's not by that much, but even if you want to say QB2 is a better passer, it's not by that much. They're about the same level. All right. Now let's compare the rushes. All right, I'm just going to give you guys spoiler alert. QB2 dominates QB1, which is Jimmy G in rushing statistics. All right, so QB1 had 46 rushes for 62 rushing yards and 1 rushing touchdown, while QB2 had 82 rushes for 413 rushing yards and 7 rushing touchdowns. All right, so obviously QB2 is the much better runner. I can't argue with that. All right, and fumbles lost, QB1 lost 5. The other QB2, he only lost 3 fumbles. In fumbles recovered, QB1 recovered 3 fumbles, QB2 recovered 5 fumbles, and they both fumbled 10 times in total, basically. So they're basically about the same. But you can see how QB2 is a better runner, and that their passing is worse than Jimmy G's, which is QB1. But Jimmy G, as we know, is not exactly a mobile quarterback. But that's okay, because Tom Brady isn't a mobile quarterback. I mean, if we were saying that quarterbacks need to be mobile, that means we need to diss Tom Brady and say that he's not the GOAT. All right? So, my point is QB1's a better thrower than QB2, or around the same level. Or even QB2's a little bit better, but not that much better. Now, what I just said, those stats are pretty similar. I mean, QB1 had a better season throwing the football, in my opinion, while QB2 was a better runner. It was about even. By the media, QB1, a.k.a. Jimmy G, is considered a weak link to his team. Looking at you, Stephen A. Smith, while QB2 is considered a rising superstar by many in the media, particularly Stephen A. Smith, but he's not really the main one. It's more like Max Kellerman, Skip Bayless, the other guys. All right, so QB2... he's considered a rising superstar and was even mentioned in the MVP conversation as a legitimate MVP candidate this year. All right, and I just used the 2019 NFL season stats to compare to each other. All right, so I'll just tell you who QB1 is. I already told you guys that. That's Jimmy G. While QB2, I haven't told you guys yet. Guess who it is? I'm going to tell you guys now. All right, so QB2 is Deshaun Watson. All right, Deshaun Watson is often raved about like a superstar. What I just did just proved the haters wrong. I just informed them information. The same people that ragdoll on Jimmy G, aka Stephen A. Smith, Damian Woody, Ryan Clark, it used to be Dan Orlovsky before he jumped on the bandwagon, Marcus Spears. I'm forgetting some other names too. Skip Bayless and Nick Wright especially. All right, are the same people that are raving about Deshaun Watson, talking about how Deshaun Watson is a beast while Jimmy G is the weak link. Now, I'm not saying that Jimmy G is necessarily better than Deshaun Watson, although if you argue that, I'm not going to stop you from doing that. But what I am saying is that if you view Deshaun Watson as a rising superstar, then Jimmy G should be viewed as a borderline top 10 quarterback at absolute worst. But really, when you say rising superstar, that means top 5. So that means Jimmy G's not too far behind at all. Based on that, that means that Jimmy G is not a weak link at all. Jimmy G is a player that you can definitely trust most of the time, if not all the time. He's literally 3 plays away from being undefeated. If his defense had forced a stop at the end of those ball games that they lost at the end, then that means that Jimmy G would have been 16-0 in the regular season, 18-0 right now. We'd be talking about perfection. But yeah, that's my point. My point is that Jimmy G's not a weak link at all. All right? And look, the 49ers are obviously a good football team. I saw that in them before the year started. Although I didn't have them making the playoffs, I had them winning 9 games. But I saw that they were obviously an improved football team, which was something that a lot of people didn't see happening before the season started. But let me just say this. The 49ers, they certainly benefit from Jimmy G's leadership in his clutch play. The best teams the best teams win on Super Bowl Sunday. All right, and the best overall team is the 49ers. I understand that the Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes, great player. He's incredible, but it takes more than a quarterback to win a Super Bowl. I do not really trust Patrick Mahomes' teammates to come through, as they will be bulldozed over by the 49ers defense at the beginning of the ballgame. Even when Patrick Mahomes becomes unstoppable in this ballgame, which is inevitable because he always is, the 49ers could just counter that with Jimmy G throwing the football. Or running, whatever. But I'm pretty sure they're going 0 into the run, which means that the 49ers will have to rely on Jimmy G to win this ball game, which I'm very confident that he will. By the time that the Chiefs will get going on offense, the 49ers offense will be on a rhythm, or they have already gotten going, something like that, as they're gassing out the Chiefs defense. D Ford, he's going to get his revenge on the Chiefs. He's going to make Frank Clark's comments look foolish. He's going to make some plays out there on the field. So will Nick Bosa. So will Richard Sherman. I got the 49ers starting out red hot and having a big lead at halftime. They'll be up 17-3 at that time, and then that's when the Chiefs will get going. Eventually, the score will be tied at 27 as Patrick Mahomes is leading a furious rally while the 49ers start getting conservative with the football, as 49ers head coach Kyle Shanahan will get over-conservative to counter what happened in the last Super Bowl for Kyle Shanahan back when he was the offense coordinator for the Falcons. So, but what I'm basically saying is that the 49ers are going to jump to a big lead. They're going to relax in the third quarter. Mahomes is going to catch up with them. Then the 49ers... They'll just try to play not to lose the game. That's how they get, and the Chiefs just slowly bite their way back into the game to get the game tied at 27. So that's what I'm trying to say. However, with the game tied at 27, with under 2 minutes left, as Patrick Mahomes throws a game-tying touchdown in regulation, I predict that Jimmy G will drive down the field to get the 49ers to field goal range while making clutch throw after clutch throw. I predict that Robbie Gould will make somewhere between 40 to 49-yard field goal. But I'm going to say a 44-yard game-winning field goal attempt. He'll make that kick. That's what I'm predicting. As time expires, they give the 49ers the win in Super Bowl 54. That would give the 49ers their 6th ring in franchise history, while the drought of winning a Super Bowl continues for the Chiefs. The final score will be 49ers 30, Chiefs 27. With Jimmy G receiving Super Bowl MVP honors. I see him showing up big time. I see his stat line being 19 of 27, but it's a 70.4% completion percentage rate for 243 passing yards, 2 passing touchdowns, no turnovers. All right, I'm only going to list out the passing stats because it's going to be too complicated if I start listing the rushing stats. All right, but yeah, that's basically going to be his main stat line through the air. So that's what I'm saying. So I see him win Super Bowl MVP, and I see him coming up clutch at the end of the Super Bowl to prove to all the haters wrong and to get the 49ers the dub in Super Bowl 54. The 49ers will prove all the haters wrong, as this Super Bowl will be remembered as one of the best Super Bowls that would be ever played. I see Super Bowl 54 going to be a great Super Bowl. I see it going to be one of the best games ever played. And I could see this game being an all-time classic game 20 years from now. That is why I believe that the 49ers will win Super Bowl 54. And those are my thoughts on all of that. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Be sure to check out more of the best clips from Tran Talks on the YouTube channel Sports Guy Talking.